Hello and welcome to the Booksplosion live show for Defy the Night by BRIGID KEMMERER. I'm Kat.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse. We're Booksplosion.
So today we are going to be discussing Defy the Night. It is the first book in a fantasy series. In this book, we are following two main characters. We're set in a world where there's this fever that's spreading through a kingdom, and only the moonflower is the cure. And one of our main characters, Tessa, she steals moonflower and gives it to people who can't afford it because it's very expensive, and like there's a lot of people who just can't buy the cure, so they're going to die. And so she and her partner Wes do it Robin Hood style. They steal moonflower and give it to the poor. And then we also follow Korik, who is the younger brother of the prince. He's a prince. He's the younger brother of the king. And 4 years ago, their parents were killed, and they were both thrust into this like perilous position of power, quite young. And Korik is the king's justice. He is the one who doles out punishment to people like Tessa who steal moonflower, and he has a reputation for being very cruel and cold. And one day, Tessa kind of finds herself accidentally in the castle.
Where'd Korik go?
Our storylines really converge there, and things really go from there. I don't want to say anything else because spoilers, and I think it's better if you just like go into it.
It was rare. I was there. I was there.
So yeah, that's the basic gist of it. It's the first book in a series. Do we think it's going to be a trilogy?
I think it's going to be a trilogy because her last one was a trilogy.
That's my thought too.
I'm hoping it's going to be a duology.
Hopefully.
I could see that.
We'll get to it, but.
Which one? Okay.
I'll just say it's not a spoiler. I just feel like we don't need 3 books. Like, I feel like she could end it easily. She could have easily ended it with this one.
But unless there's like, we're going to go to another kingdom. Like, the Curse of Dark Lonely, it's probably go to a completely different perspective.
It depends how big this problem is going to be. Like, it could be solved in one book, or she could expand it, and we could have like different mysteries and different things to solve. But yeah, let's talk about thoughts without spoilers.
Thoughts.
Who wants to go first?
Thoughts and tots. I guess I will. I liked it a lot. I can't say that I liked it more than A Curse So Dark and Lonely, but I really just enjoy BRIGID KEMMERER's writing style. Like, she makes it so easy to like get invested in a fantasy book where sometimes like it takes a lot of work. I feel like with
every time we talk about it.
I know, I'm sorry, but I just feel like she really does like just make it so easy to just like get invested. Whereas like sometimes fantasy stories like you have to really work, which is not a bad thing. It's just like a different style.
Are like the entry fantasies for people who
exactly. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked some of the twists that were in there. They were really fun. Didn't see some of them coming, and I really liked the characters. I don't think I liked them more than the A Curse So Dark and Lonely characters. Not to like compare them, but you did. Okay. You share your thoughts then. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I love Batman, like, in this book. I really I really like the romance with Batman, because we don't get to ever explore that in Batman movies. It's kind of like, ooh, Catwoman, Batman, and like Batman disappears. But like in this movie, it's like if Batman like was falling in love with like someone in the night, and then the someone in the night runs into Batman, but she doesn't know it's Batman, and it's like, oh my god, that you're Batman, and then like the angst and like.
So the whole time you were reading it, you were just envisioning Batman.
You know, he is Batman. He's the Batman of their city.
Okay.
He's the Dark Knight.
Okay.
He takes on the burden.
But were you imagining Batman the whole time? Please tell me you were.
I mean, like, not with that sort of outfit, but like his outfit's kind of like Batman. He's got a mask. Like he's
okay.
No, I really liked Korik. I liked how he hides behind this kind of this reputation of being a bad person, and he knows that it's like his responsibility to hold that reputation, and that is Batman. He's like, the city needs a villain, and I will be that villain for them. like put it on me, I can take it.
I mean, it's kind of sad because he was only 15 when his parents were killed, and he was thrust into this position.
Batman.
He's the younger brother, and he has to be this person who doles out the justice and sentences people to die. And he curated this reputation of being super cruel, as a way to protect him and his brother. Because if they show any weakness, they're gonna get assassinated just like their parents were. So I really felt for his position, and it was so. I really liked how our characters they don't interact with the castle for a while, so we really got to see both of their perspectives. Because Tessa hates Korik before she meets him, just on principle. She's the king and his brother are horrible, awful people. Just hates him so much. And so when they finally start getting working together, it was just such a fun dynamic to explore, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and the brother relationship was great.
Yeah.
That
was interesting.
I think we need to talk about spoilers now.
Yeah.
Wait. We didn't really end what were your thoughts overall? Love it, like it, okay it.
So I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it.
But again, like it, so you didn't have to do stars.
Oh, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I just comparing it to A Curse of Dark and Lonely, I didn't like it as much. For some reason, I really connected with A Curse of Dark and Lonely. So
maybe it's been a while since I read A Curse of Dark and Lonely, because the comparison wasn't as fresh for me. I just found myself really enjoying this and not really comparing it to that other work, even though I remember loving that one. But I loved this one too, especially once we got to that 100 pages in and our characters' storylines really converged. Something kind of happened, and I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And I enjoyed all the setup and the beginning part, but then once we really got rolling, I was just loving it so much. It's one of my favorite books of the year so far, for sure.
Yeah, I loved it. I can't remember if it made my I don't know if it made my top 10, because I read a lot of books I really love this year, but I loved it. And I think I liked it a little bit more than A Curse of Dark and Lonely, just because after I think it's because I read the next 2 books that kind of paled me on one of the characters. And now I look back on A Curse of Dark and Lonely and I'm like,
did you finish that trilogy or?
No, I never finished the last book because I
just
forgot
remember
some of the stuff. So when I was trying to read it, I was like, oh, I don't really remember. So I don't know if I should keep going.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to take, I'm going to need the rest of the series to form a solid opinion on it. Because I like everything that we have here, but it very much is the first book in a series, and that there's quite a bit still left unresolved. It's not a cliffhanger, we reach a stopping point, but it's still we still have a lot to solve.
Right. So, I will say that's something that I actually did really like about it, is that while there is still more to explore, obviously, it still kind of felt like it was finished in a way, it felt like it came together really nicely. Yeah. Also, we didn't talk about the fact that we are going to be announcing our next book on socials, so stay tuned for that. That's why we're not announcing it in our live show. So keep your eyes out on our Instagram and Twitter.
Our live show is a little bit early this month because of Thanksgiving next week. So we still have a little bit of time before December actually starts. We'll announce it as soon as possible, though.
Yes.
Just want to say hi to everyone in the chat, and I was saying hi to Paula because they said there was their first time attending, and then I was like, I didn't say hi to anybody else because I just got distracted talking. So hi everyone, thank you for being here.
Christine's our little mod in the chat.
I just in a paragraph saying hi to everyone.
Spoiler time.
Yes, we are going to be getting into spoilers.
Let's do it. Leave if you haven't read it.
Also, isn't this a Robin Hood retelling or something?
Not a retelling, but like inspired.
It's not those
Okay.
guys
Robin
too.
Just
inspired.
inspired.
Just like
Gotcha.
Batman.
Batman and Robin.
It is like Batman and Robin.
Okay, so did you guys see it coming?
What it? Because I can't remember what it is.
Weston.
Weston and
Oh,
Court.
yeah.
Yeah, I was suspicious, but I didn't, just because of the mask. I wasn't like sold, but I was like that was a possibility that crossed my mind.
The second we switched point of views.
Really?
I feel like in retrospect I should have known, because like obviously the two main characters, and like especially from the way Wes and Tessa were interacting early on, I was like, I like them so much. Like I want them together. Like I'm not gonna be into another romance, so like they better be together. But still, it didn't click to me. I figured that Wes was someone from the castle, but for a while I thought it was Quint. Because Quint had that more like
I could see that
personality, and he also was described as having like reddish hair, and I was like, it's Quint. Like Quint is Wes, and like we're gonna have that sort of drama happen. So yeah, I was surprised by it. Even I was like looking for clues, and it didn't click until it was happening, and I was like, oh yeah, duh, okay.
I was just like, it would have surprised me if it wasn't him.
they look so different on their cards.
That's because they want to trick you.
You look how blue his eyeballs are, and then these are like black.
Well, you know, when you put on the black mask,
you're wearing contacts.
Your eyes really pop.
Oh my gosh.
You can't let the drawings rule.
I did like that twist though, but also like I don't remember. It's been a second since I've read the book. I'll be honest. I don't remember like when she saw his dead body. Like, was it just so like destroyed that like she?
Well, it was hanging up, and it was wearing his mask, so you can't really tell.
He had daggers put through his eye.
Yeah. So it's like really unrecognizable. I didn't think about the mask. I forgot about that.
His face was like it was described as being like swollen and purple. Yeah. So like he was pretty unrecognizable, but like, you know, Wes had never returned to the cabin, and like here is this person wearing Wes's clothes. Like he jumped to the right conclusion.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I knew it wasn't him. I knew it was someone else. Like,
well, you always know.
I mean, you know it was someone else, but I didn't expect it to Court. There's so much other stuff going on. You know, does he ever sleep?
He never sleeps.
He's Batman.
I was so tired on his behalf reading his perspective. So I'm like, you have to do all this King's Justice stuff all day, and then like all night you're out being Robin Hood. Like,
Batman!
I agree with this. Bro, he could have told her earlier though, like, surprise, I'm not dead.
Well, like,
I agree.
The whole point though was that he had.
I know, but still.
He was trying to pull an Edward Cullen and be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm gonna get her in trouble I'm the King's Justice. And
I mean, especially because like they were upping all the patrols, you know, it was about to get so much harder and more dangerous to steal, and like he didn't want to risk himself, but she was also like, let's start a revolution, and he's like,
he's like, I can't get involved in this.
Like, calm down, Tessa.
Do something to like discourage her.
He was like, who do you think you are, Katniss Everdeen? Like, this is not happening. But yeah, I really love how the relationship progressed though, and how she kind of became fast friends with the king, you know? Like, he was like, I respect what you're saying. Like, let's do that.
I really liked that she got that perspective of like the other side, because it really is a much more complicated situation than it was easy for her to think at a distance and just be like, oh, they're evil, they're doing all this evil stuff, and like they're the king is trying his best, like he's trying. He has his own struggles with like the consuls, and you know, a lot the guards kind of have a mind of their own, like they don't always listen to like what his directions are. So it's just a complex situation, and I appreciated the different perspectives of it.
Yeah, there's always way more going on than like we can see from afar. It's sad to see her like blindly hating them without actually knowing the situation. It was nice to explore.
But it's also understandable why she blindly hates them, because
both sides are understandable, but like it's always more nuanced than that.
And what's interesting though is like she had to learn this, but Korik already knew this. Korik's already living his double life.
Yeah. But like Korik is also needs that push from her to like really see it from their point of view, I feel like, because it takes that push for him to be like, you know, she's right and we have to do more. And at the end, like when Korik like was almost dead like 1,000 times, I was like, oh my God. I can't even remember what exactly happens, but I just remember thinking like he just almost died and then he's like gets back up and just starts doing things again, and then like you remember, obviously you guys
he got like they went to do like one last round of rounds and they got attacked by like the rebels and he got beat almost to death, and then he was, like, held in the hold in the fire for a while, and then they went back into the castle and rebels were attacking it and they had to like jump out a window and repel. It was all like, did you fall out of the window?
Yeah, it was chaos.
Oh my God. And then he and his brother like raced, and that was cute because they used to race. But no, okay, in the beginning they also planted that like he and his brother used to go out into the town.
Yeah, they did. Again, it all made sense in retrospect. I was like, duh. I was reading his perspectives, like, because I was suspicious, and like there was no hint that he like spent his nights out of the castle. Like it felt like he spent his night like watching his brother breathe to make sure he was okay. And I was like, he has to sleep at some point. I was just like, there's no possible way he could be doing all of this. Like, take a nap, bro.
Take a nap.
You gotta be on that coffee grind all the time. Oh man. Okay. What do we feel about when they attacked him out in the wild when he was with Tessa? I was very upset.
I was very upset. It was just the situation getting out of hand.
Yeah.
At that point, I had suspected, what's his name, Alexander. I had suspected that he was the one who was like involved, and he was like having the rebels attack his. Yeah, I know. And like having the rebels attack his supply runs, like just so he could like justify higher prices and get more guards. And like I suspected he had a hand in it. But like before we even realized that how out of control he was with the situation, I was like, this is not what he has planned, I'm sure. Like it was the rebels were just like having a mind of their own, and they were like just doing what they wanted, which was they just wanted justice. They just wanted revenge. But it was so upsetting because it's like, this is Tessa and Wes. Like, you guys, like, they've been helping you for 2 years. Like, and now it's like, you disappears. Like, I know it's a shock, but like, he's been helping you for 2 years. Like, can you not understand that? Yeah. And like, they did eventually, like, Tessa talked them down, but he was like on the verge of death by the time she did.
And again, it's just like Batman, like, the public turns against them.
What else reminded you of Batman, Christine? Do share. Was there anything that didn't?
The people rising up against the rich. Yeah. No.
The reason I didn't get Batman vibes was because Wes was so.
You haven't watched Batman lately.
Well, I haven't watched Batman lately, but also Wes was so playful. Like his Wes persona was like so playful and like flirty, and like Batman is very stoic.
He's like Batman in his court persona.
Yeah, I'll
like
give you
Spider-Man in his Spider-Man suit. But like Batman has like a very like dry sense of humor. Sometimes he's like there and then he's like gone. And they're like, "Excuse me, we were talking." I feel like that's kind of a joke sometimes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I love Christopher Nolan's Batman. Okay. What should we talk about? Do you want to get questions? Like,
I feel like there was one scene that I was like, this is really cheesy and I don't like this.
Was it the romance?
It was what?
Was it a romantic scene?
No, it was like when the rebels were like, "Oh, Tessa, you've done so much for us. Yes, Tessa, we love you," or whatever. I don't know. They were just like praising her, and I was like, "This is so cheesy. I hate these kinds of scenes in books."
Yeah, that scene was a little bit cheesy. It's the climactic scene. Like she stops on the revolution because like all the people love her so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. I was just like, I just remembered that moment. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, the whole sequence was like, is this gonna work? Like,
Yeah.
It was a little cheesy, but you know, we were already on the way to diffusing the situation, so it was just like that a little final push to like let the tensions die down.
Right.
That was one thing that I don't know how I feel about the resolution, because like even though we did have kind of a satisfying arc, I feel like we didn't solve much. Like that's like the two consuls who are conspiring against him are like they like are being watched closely, but they're not like in trouble. Like they're still in their sectors, and like there's still the mystery going on of like what caused the fever and like why the king and queen were assassinated before, like that whole plot there, what those other consuls are doing. And like the rebels are still mad. Like we've just put pause on everything for like what 8 weeks was how long it was medicine.
Well, because we have another book.
Yeah, I know. I get that. It just felt like a little anticlimactic because like, we're building tension, and then it's like a little bit of a drop. But even the characters at the end are just like, we only paused this. Like this is only just on pause.
Yeah.
I forget how it ended between Korg and Tessa. Like they're together.
Yeah, they're like together, and they're just like, we still have so much to do kind of situation.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what she does in the next book.
Oh, I'm very excited for the next book. Like, even though I'm like, it was a little anticlimactic, like I still loved it, and I'm still very into the series, and will absolutely be reading it immediately.
I really like the scene in the beginning where like he's like, tie yourself up right now, and then like someone comes in and she has to like, she's mad at him, but she's also like pretending to be mad, and he's like the tension there, and like all the different layers of like annoyance and like excitement that it's like Wes and all that stuff. It's great. I really wanted them to like have one of those scenes where like, I hate you, and then like start making out, and then be like, no, I hate you.
I liked that we didn't have that, because I liked that she like warmed up to him as Korek.
Yeah, I really like the scene when he came back all bloody, and she was like, he was like, you're scared of me, or like, you're disgusted by me. And she's like, no, I understand that this is like a really hard situation, and you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes, where she was like comforting him and like helping him get cleaned up. Because like she got to see that like even it like that his role as the cruel Korek, the king's justice, like really is something that he has to like put himself through. And it's like it gave her that perspective of like, oh, he's like actually getting hurt by this. Like he's acting tough, but like he's really affected by this, like more than she thought before she like knew he was Korek and Wes. And like that helped her like really merge like Korek and Wes together in her mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I just love those kind of like hurt comfort scenes where like you're taking care of
I understand you, and let me take care of you, be vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, it was this big like the walls come crashing down around him scene. It was beautiful.
How did we feel about like kind of reading about a pandemic? What were your thoughts on that? Because I mean, I know that she initially didn't write this book too. Like,
like
she didn't write it during the pandemic. Like she had the idea before.
Read the author note, but she did this first draft in like the fall of 2019, and she was doing her edits right around March 2020, like right when the pandemic really hit. And so like it definitely affected her like revision, and like she was able to like incorporate like, you know, some real life experiences and what she was seeing like into the book. But the whole idea, like the start of this was before pandemic.
That would just be like so wild to like have written that book and then like have the pandemic hit and just be like, okay, like I have some inspiration, I guess, but also this is hard to write, like
Yeah,
'cause it's so like hits so
there
close
are
to
some
home.
parallels.
Yeah,
between,
yeah,
but it's just like pandemic in general. Like I didn't feel like this was like COVID really.
Yeah.
I didn't
right.
feel any sense of like, oh, this is what we went through. It was just like, general, this is what happens when there's a sickness going around.
Yeah, well, there is like the parallel also of like the hoarding of like just goods and stuff, and the wealth, and like how like everyone
Price
like,
gouging.
and people would take like all the toilet paper at the time, and
Yeah.
then everyone else wouldn't get any, and it was like that was paralleling a lot in the beginning.
Right.
But,
Right.
yeah. But it wasn't too focused on the sickness.
No.
It was more like the politics around it, and
Yeah.
like the just them being so young and being forced into these roles, and the Batman aspect.
I mean, that's why I feel like I was able to enjoy it, is because it was about like the more political situation than like the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right.
The sickness, the fever, which like obviously that's a problem, and like we're gonna be needing to work toward solving that, or like growing more moonflower, like making a more available cure or whatever is going on there. But I like that wasn't like the main focus. I feel like it might be later on though. Like I feel like the fever, like I want to talk about theories now for like where we think it's going. Because one thing I was like, I saw Alexander being involved in the rebellion and like trying to manipulate that situation to like get money and whatever he was doing there. But I also feel like the illness was like introduced by someone intentionally. Like I was thinking like maybe Alexander was behind it. Like it was like making people sick and then offering them this cure, like sort of a, I don't know, something going on there. Or I don't know what's happening, but I have a lot of theories about like why the king and queen were assassinated in the first place. Like right as the fever was starting to. Like I feel like that's not a coincidence.
I read this book too long ago to remember the intricacies of my theories. I definitely did think about that, and there is an aspect of that going on with them, like not giving them the real cure. I feel like maybe the sickness is real, but like maybe it's dying down and they want to keep it going because it's profiting them or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Or there's also the thing about how in the sector by the ocean, the one that's more like hot and humid and by the sea, they have a lot fewer people affected. And at first, when I was looking at the map, I was like, well, that's the one farthest away from where the moonflowers grow. So like maybe the closer you are to the, like maybe the moonflowers are behind it all. Like maybe they're the sickness and the cure.
Or it like could be something with like the fish there, like anything. Just maybe counteracting it so it's not as contagious or something. So I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be essential to like finding the cure or whatever in the next book. So
what if the king and queen are actually not dead and they're still like they're running this whole thing?
I feel like they saw them murdered in front of them.
But they could have been wearing masks, and it could.
What if they're ghosts and they come back?
What if they're Batman and Robin and?
No, they're
like,
already Batman and Robin. And Batman's dad and mom.
No. Sorry,
What if they were wearing magic pearls when they died? But
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited.
Do you guys have any other theories?
I know. I'm like trying to think of like what other theories.
Yeah. Well, chat. Do you have any like cues or theories you want us to talk about before we like wrap up and not announce our next month book until we like figure it out?
Also, well, if you have any book suggestions, you can drop them in the chat.
Yeah,
take you up on that.
We'll take it into consideration. Okay. Do you guys think the next book is going to stick to the same two POVs or change them up the way Curse Through Duck and Lily did? I was thinking maybe it'll be Korik. And do we think Korik likes what's his name? Q. The guy who starts with a Q.
Do you mean Hairston?
Yeah, I was like, wait, Korik
Q. Is Hairston his friend? Oh wait, Cork's his brother. Sorry, I meant the king.
Yeah.
And
I was wondering that too. Like,
yeah, I
they definitely
think they have
had
like a romantic vibe happening.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. And I bet Cork would be like have weird feelings. He's like, "That's my best friend."
Not my best friend.
My brother.
Not my Robin.
Quint. Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I know his name starts with a Q.
Yeah, I wanted more Quint in this book as it was. So
I was suspicious of him for like half a second, and then I was like, okay, never mind. He's good.
Yeah.
I wasn't suspicious of him because I thought he was Wes for like up until that moment where he saw Tessa in the castle and was like, "Sound the alarm, secure the king." I was like, "Oh wait, so he's not Wes then?" He had a similar personality and a similar physical description of like reddish hair. And he always seemed tired too. So I was like,
he was always helping.
Everybody's tired.
It's a full-time job being a king.
I mean, I kind of hope that we just stick with Cork and Tessa because I like being heads, and I think that they are central enough to the plot and like the situation that we don't need to see other perspectives. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if we like expand that and we have like other storylines going on. Like if we do get a new perspective, then there's probably going to be another romance involved with that other perspective. So like I'm not opposed to it, but I like Tessa and Cork and I wouldn't mind just sticking with them.
Yeah, I mean that's like when I read the second book in A Curse So Dark and Lonely, I was like, I miss what's her name or what's his name? Oh my god, I forget their names. But like we're seeing from completely Gray's point of view and a new princess's point of view in that book. And like I eventually grew to really like them, but in the beginning I really missed them. And then in the third book, we weren't seeing from their point of view still, and I was like, damn it, I miss them so much.
Oh wow, there's gonna be a new series set in the Cursebreaker world in 2022.
Is it this series?
I mean, the Cursebreaker world is like attached to our world, so
yeah. I was looking to see if there was any information on the Defy the Night sequel, but there's nothing up on Goodreads yet. So.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
No title or anything.
Maybe she's still like kind of brainstorming what she wants to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we do end in a position where like we have lots of options where we can go. Like we have all this great stuff set up, and so like yeah, we could go in many directions.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Did we touch on everything?
I guess we very excitedly like talk about everything super quickly. Like, oh my god, this.
We could talk about Red by Taylor. I mean,
oh my gosh. Oh, I've been listening
to. Wait, did you listen to? Sorry, I know this is really off topic. The new Adele yet? Anybody?
I haven't. I want to though. I can't listen to new music when I'm writing because my brain is distracted by the new music. So I need to listen to like really familiar music that I can zone out.
Opposite for me because like the new music doesn't register when I'm writing, so it's just background. Yeah. But I never listened to Adele's full albums because like they're just really like ballady saddy to me. I listened to like the hit songs.
Oh, what? Did you listen to 25 at all?
No, I've listened to like the hit songs. Because I get
it has some like boppy songs like dun, 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 dun,
I don't know. She's so talented. I just like it's
have
very...
you listened to it, Jesse?
Yes, I have. It's very good. It doesn't have any like really like fun jumpy songs though, so you won't like it, Christine. This one's definitely more of like a ballady
really
one.
Fun, like it's just something about her voice sounds so intense, and I know it's like that it's beautiful, but like I can only keep it one song at a time.
Whatever, it's fine.
Okay, well, what are your guys' favorite songs from the vault on Red?
Message in a Bottle and All Too Well. Oh, Winter. I really like Forever Winter. What is yours?
Message in a Bottle.
I listened to Message in a Bottle probably the most, but I also really like Run with Ed Sheeran.
That one's grown on me. At first it was just kind of like there, and then I'm like, oh, this is fun. But like,
I also unexpectedly, like, I Bet You Think About Me. Like, I didn't love that one at first because it was a little bit like too country for like my
old-fashioned Taylor.
But I really liked the video, and then like I had it stuck in my head for a few days.
I'll bet you think about me. She's got that like twang back.
The twang back.
Yeah, no, I like the song. I just wasn't listening to that one over and over again like I was with the other ones. But like they're all so tied to like the Jake Gyllenhaal songs, except for Forever Winter. Like they just all like all the metaphors are like tied back to all those metaphors. And I'm like, I can see why like you don't want to put all of these on the album because it feels like very intensely tied to that story.
Right.
But I love the new All Too Well. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Obsessed with it.
I love the short film too. It's so good.
Yeah, I like the song better than the short film, but the short film's good too.
I saw this TikTok where someone was talking about how the All Too Well short film might technically qualify for an Academy Award.
I saw that too.
It's nominated. And I would be very, very into that. Like, I hope that happens. That would just be perfect.
I want her to get her Academy Award so she can get all the different things. Every time she's up for an Emmy or an Academy Award, I like pulling for her so hard, and I don't think she's gotten them. Or she got one of them. Did she get like a Golden Globe or something? I can't remember. But it's like when she writes the songs for the different movies. I think she got a Hunger Games song or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. It was fabulous.
Yeah, that's all our thoughts on Defy the Night, y'all.
All my thoughts on Defy the Night. It was so good. You should read it. If you haven't, you're just here. Let's wake up.
Short live show today, but thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and we'll be back in December with our like classic, like ranking all the books we read this year live show. Superlatives, always so much fun.
I'm excited. Yeah. I think we're also going to try to do our favorites of the year non-book live show where we talk about like our favorite movies and shows and like 2021 in review. It's 2021, right?
Yeah, 2021 favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Ready
be fun.
for it.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter because that is where we will be announcing all of those things along with our next book of the month. So yeah, follow us there for all the deets, and we will see you next month with a couple live shows and all of our end of the year celebrations.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us for the live show today. I'm Kat.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse. We're Book Explosion.
Bye.